Hello everyone, you welcome to this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinox Television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I am Bablet Jonathan. In this newscast, we're going to show you the deplorable state of the road leading to Bangem in the southwest region of the country. The road is in an advanced state of dilapidation, and traveling into and out of Bangem has become more or less a nightmare, added to the unstable socio-political and security situation of that part of the southwest and of course the entire region and the northwest region of the country as a result of the socio-political tensions. That is the Anglophone crisis that has been pulling on for close to 3 years. Today also in this newscast we shall talk about condemnations rising to the sky, notably condemnations from media practitioners against the arrest and detention of a journalist in the southwest regional chief town, Boya. A journalist of CMTV has been under detention at the Munya police station in the southwest regional chief town, Boya, for several days in connection to alleged connections or alleged involvement in separatist activities. Stay with us. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us in this edition of the news on Equinox Television. We begin this newscast on the Bangem Road in the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, added to the unstable socio-political and security tensions eating up that part of the country. The road network, notably the main road leading to Bangem, is more or less a nightmare to commuters. Traveling into and out of Bangem is an uphill task and a very difficult journey for commuters. Innocent as it paints the picture of the Bangem road in this report.
They are traveling to Bangem, Kupe Manunguba division of the restive southwest region for different missions. Unfortunately, a big trouble ahead awaits them. They are forced to line up for hours on this stretch of road linking Melong and Bangem. It is not a separatist attack, but an impassable seasonal road. Ambulance transporting the mortal remains of one of the sons of the fun of Bangem struggles with the corpse.
We cannot reach Bangem. We are suffering from 1st to 31st, from January to December. We don't have peace on this road. When we have something that we are going to do, like they are carrying cops like this now, it's a difficult task for us. We are suffering in Bangem road. I'm sorry.
Even the military armor cars are not excluded from this crazy condition. Four-wheel drive vehicles and others find it difficult to access. Motorbikes struggle to pass, but riders must wear boots and protective clothes. In the case of loaded vehicles, passengers are compelled to step out and trek across barefoot or allow their shoes rubbished in mud.
I don't tell you, next Monday you go that side, you will go there you want. Bye-bye.
It is a strategic road stretch, but no attention is paid it.
I think the government should understand that it is Kupe Manunguba that is feeding Douala in terms of plantains, cocoyam, corn, pepper. We produce everything in Kupe Manunguba division. At times, you buy plantains, there is no car to take the plantains to Douala. At times, they will give you a very high cost of transportation. They will charge you 80,000 francs for you to carry plantains from Bangem to Melong or hillocks. If such conditions are in place, how can you develop? Bangem is suffering.
The population of Bangem expressed frustration over neglect of this road despite promises to have it start.
You have been seeing, the government have been saying that putting this road into program that they will tie this road for more than 20 years. We have been waiting. Last time, the Minister of Development, Urban Development, whatsoever, they came and put and they tried to peg the road that they are going to give after, but we have been waiting for a very long time. Bangla really needs it because without the good roads, we cannot go and sell our products to the market, especially Douala, economic capital.
Years are elapsing. 2035 draws near. Yet, developmental promises in a complex system gets aborted.
And as days boil down to September 2nd, 2019, when the next academic year will take off, campaigns are intensifying in the southwest and northwest regions of the country. Campaigns for children to return to school come September 2nd after 2 academic years badly affected by the current socio-political and security tensions in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. Davidson Maimo has more from Limbe.
With series of back-to-school campaigns, especially within the northwest and southwest regions of the country, that has been hit by the ongoing Anglophone crisis for close to 3 years, causing some schools to shut down, others partially functioning, and thousands of pupils and students forced out of schools, with some relocating to nearby cities and towns within the west, littoral, and the central regions respectively. Ex-student of Lycée Maninguba, formerly called Lycée Modern de Kongsamba, in an extraordinary executive meeting geared towards giving back to their alma mater, used the event to add their voices, begging for a hitch-free opening of the 2019-2020 academic year within the Anglophone regions.
I think that students must go back to school. It is very important. No civilization can grow without school. That is all.
No matter what is going on, students must go back to school.
Our prayer is just to leave those guys, those children go to school.
We are praying to peace in this country. All the way, peace. And let children go back to school. We should go to school, whatever the case, we should go to school. It is actually in the interest of all of us to go to school.
We can continue to live as a family, as one, as we used to be when we were in those old days.
To the ex-students, the extraordinary meeting is holding in Limbe, Southwest region, in solidarity with the Anglophone education family to bring back the love and oneness that exists in the past.
Students of this school were from various cultural backgrounds, different regions of Cameroon. We are all brothers. We love each other. That is the same love which brings us together today. That is the love we have come to share with the Limbe population today.
The ex-student will be carrying out a project of about 8 million CFA francs before the start of the school year.
Projects are just like rehabilitating some few classrooms, making sure that first of all we start by painting, rearranging the roofing that are leaking, bring back the paints and the floors and whatever. So,
Free books titled I Have Eight, written by Blashes Ngome, one of the ex-students, was equally distributed to school heads, churches, meeting groups, and other organizations.
HIV does not only attack a special category of people. That's why we have decided to bring on board everybody, and that's why everybody has received those books today.
The extraordinary meeting of Lycée Maninguba, formerly called Lycée Modern de Kongsamba, also aimed at amending the constitution of the association and strategize for future projects, all aimed at giving back to the school that molded them for who they are today.
Coming up, a Northwest correspondent, Mbu Stella, takes a look at how some schools in the region have been managing to survive amid the 3-year-long crisis.
Within Campbelltown in Dunga Mountain Division, relative calm exists The inhabitants of the town go about their activities despite calls for ghost towns and lockdowns. However, they feel the pinch of the ongoing crisis. The prices of basic necessities are doubling as the main road leading to Nkambe from Bamenda, Trundop and Kumbo has become a nightmare for locals. It has remained impassable for months, and many who travel to and from the town use other roads, which is 4 times their usual fare. Despite the difficulties, Donga Mantung is ranked first in the Northwest region as far as school attendance and participation in state holidays are concerned. One of the institutions managing to survive in a town where there are attempts by the separatist Ambazonian fighters to stop schools from functioning is the Technical School of Agriculture in Kambe. The school recently graduated its 6th batch of agro-pastoral entrepreneurs and its first batch of agricultural technicians. During the ceremony, the graduating students, via their representative, called on government to hasten up the insertion program and put in place the Farmers Bank so they can benefit and contribute their quota towards Vision 2035, given that the material and financial support will enable them start their own enterprises. The school also suffers acute shortage of competent personnel, insufficient classrooms, insufficient budgetary allocation, and dilapidated structures begging for rehabilitation. The graduation ceremony, chaired by Dr. Samuel Quincy, Senior Divisional Officer for Donga Mantung, ends in a award of prizes to outstanding students.
A journalist is under detention in the Southwest Regional Chief Town. Boya Samuel Wazizi, journalist with CMTV in the Southwest Regional Chief Town, was arrested and is being detained in connection to the deepening Anglophone crisis. He is accused of collaboration with separatist fighters and journalists in the Southwest, Northwest, and across the country have been condemning the action of authorities that journalists who are arrested and detained for doing their job. And some journalists were at the Muya police station today, where Samuel Wazizi of CMTV is being detained, and they were told that he is being detained in connection to the Anglophone crisis. He is accused of hosting a camp of Ambazonian fighters in his farm, but information streaming into our newsroom indicate that Samuel Wazizi has rejected all the allegations against him, and he said he is ready to take anybody to his farm to see if there is any camp of Ambazonian fighters in his farm. And some journalists have been condemning the arrest of Samuel Wazizi, indicating that journalism is not a crime, and that if Ambazonian fighters use the farm of Samuel Wazizi for their camp, it will not be the responsibility of Samuel Wazizi, and it should not be punished twice. But Samuel Wazizi, however, indicated that there is no Ambazonian camp in his farm and that he is not been circulating messages from the pro-independence fighters. And yet another journalist, Equinox Television's correspondent in the Kumba in the southwest region of Cameroon, is no more. Obu Ivor, popularly known as Ogalai, died earlier today. He had been battling with ill health for a long period of time. He has left the scene, and of course, as I indicated earlier, he died today. Now we going up north to talk about the problem of cattle theft, notably in the Damawa in the north, and of course in the far north region of the country. This is increasingly a major problem affecting the activities of cattle rearers in the northern regions of the country. We have details with Immaculate Fogwe.
3 suspected bandits involved in the theft of cows in Garu and North region of Cameroon have been apprehended by the Gendarmerie Brigade of Garu 1. The suspected bandits are said to have stolen 6 cows belonging to one of the inhabitants. The Gendarmerie Brigade of Garu 1 on daily basis receives complaints from local inhabitants on the theft of cows. In collaboration with the chief of the Njalingo village and vigilante groups, we got hold of 3 suspected bandits who are reported to have stolen 6 cows. The herder was able to recognize his cattle. We wish that the population can comply with the force of law and order so as to track the other suspected thieves. This is a problem that has been affecting cattle rearers in the 3 northern regions. In the Adamawa region, farmers and cattle herders have been living in fear. This is due to the activities carried out by the Seleka rebels coming from the Central African Republic, who frequently cross over into Cameroon to steal cattle. The Fano region on its part has been affected by the activities of the Boko Haram terrorist group. According to the 2018 World Bank report, the Nigerian Islamist sect Boko Haram has stolen 3 billion francs CFA worth of livestock from borders in the Fano region. It should be noted that 70% of northerners depend on the livestock rearing, which represents the leading source of income and employment.
Up in the far north region of the country, we take a look at efforts to fight against the spread of cholera. Inhabitants are being drilled on the proper hygienic practices that will help reduce the spread of that health problem that is cholera in that part of the country, despite the difficult access to potable water in the region. Hemin Iluga.
With rainfall and poor hygiene condition of the population in the far north region, cholera has been remarked to be inevitable. There is a phenomenon of defecating in the open air which is being targeted by the state. During the rainy season, running water sweeps all along its way, and this spreads death and cholera. Though inviting the public to adjust their hygiene practices, the locals blame the situation on the lack of quality and clean water, which they say leads to the spread of certain diseases. It's been a while my parents suffered of diseases caused by lack of water. There were diseases like dysentery, typhoid, which ravaged the population. It's more to this. Many so far, according to statistics, have been hit by the outbreak, with many deaths recorded. Deaths recorded just like the recent case in Kaili in the Mayo Kenny of the Far North region. With the persistent nature of the disease, moves towards sensitizing the public is certain to be optimal as it progresses. Before now, chief of centers were drilled on cholera talks, and the council alongside the European Union progressed in the sensitization of 11,000 persons who have been sensitized in Tokombere, so the people have a mastery now of hygiene principles. The European Union, giving a helping hand to local councils in the heat region, has ensured the construction of 12 boreholes to enable quality water provision, with a further project looking forward to construct pit toilets. Meantime, the project will have to ensure the construction of pit toilets in a bid to stop the spread of cholera via defecation in the open air. As it's now, the local administrators assure the situation is under control.
And we wrap up the first part of this newscast by indicating that calls for the unconditional release of Samuel Wazizi, journalist of CMTV, a TV station in the southwest regional chieftain Boya, are gaining steam. He has been detained at the Muya police station in the town of Boya for several days. He was arrested in connection to the Anglophone crisis. He has, however, denied all the allegations or the charges or the accusations against him in connection to his alleged collaboration with Ambazonian fighters, and condemnations are rising to the sky, notably with regards to efforts to muzzle the press. This is how it is considered by media practitioners in the country. Coming up next, Talking Point. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. In the second segment of this newscast, we are receiving a journalist and educationist, Victor CHAM. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Jonathan. Glad to be here.
You're a journalist, and you are certainly aware that a member of the family of journalists in Cameroon is in detention in the Boya Samuel Wazizi of the CMTV television. What's your reaction to that development?
Yeah, I feel touched. I feel so disturbed that Samuel is behind bars. I know him so well. He's a great newscaster in Boya with CMTV, and I pray that he's released so soon when the complete investigations, and we pray that journalists and the military should always learn to collaborate in terms of information gathering and exchange, because we rely on them as our sources at times when things become very critical. So we need to work as a team, not as in favor, but let's work as a team in terms of sourcing for news, vice versa. I think he's helping the police in investigations. That's the word I would say, in my opinion.
All right, you've been campaigning for back to school. The school resumption that will be on the 2nd of September is not far from now, but the situation remains quite disturbing in the two Anglophone regions of the country. Regardless of that, you're campaigning for back to school, like many other persons, including Mancho BBC, the governor of the Northwest region, senior divisional officers, and so on and so forth.
That's right, Babila. I will tell you that education is a fundamental human right that nothing should interfere, should tamper with. And that is why the campaign or the crusade I've taken up is to enlighten the communities of these two regions to understand the importance of education. I know they already know the importance, but we are reiterating to the importance of education. And that is why the campaign is in a very localized manner. What do I mean? We have break it down to municipality by municipality, council area by council area, village by village, spreading the word, the message on the importance of education. And that is why when we go out crusading, you must expect the bad and the good, and to an extent the ugly. So the campaign so far has been smooth, though we have had critics. We love such critics because they help to empower and make it firm. No matter what, there is no condition that is perfect. We always strive to improve, to become better. There is no community that exists without problems. And when there are problems, there are things that those problems should not break them down. And one of them is education. Education is something that is priceless. The school fees you pay in school cannot buy the knowledge you learn or gather. And that is why when education no longer exists, it means that that community is no more, because the future of the community lies on education. The education of the people, the children, the young people, determines the future of the community. Great people are made from those schools. Think of CPC Bali, think of Kasbambili, think of Sase in Boya. It means that if these schools are down, and we know how these schools have produced the manpower that have helped to develop Cameroon, everybody will be tempted to think that at least there are problems, true, accepted, but let's try to have some reason. There should be that voice of reason. Let's come together, chart the way forward. Education should go on, should move on.
Yes, everybody definitely agrees on the importance of education, but the problem is the security of the school-going pupils and the pupils and the students and so on. If a parent will is listening to you now and you're telling him send your children to school, and he knows that sending his child to school, the child may not come back if he's caught in the crossfire between separatist fighters and the military.
You are right, and that is why my crusade is basically on what? It's basically creating an enabling environment, pressing hard for an enabling environment that will cause students to go to school hitch-free without any problem. That is why we are clearing the road for the government to plant. And the planting means that what? It means that the planting will pave the way for insecurity to die down. I understand that in this part of the country, insecurity is the main concern as of now. And we can only press hard on government and other actors. Remember, let me make it very clear on board.
But the farmers
back to school in these regions, Jonathan, I would not neglect the importance of the Amber Boys and the importance of the military and the importance of all society actors. It means that we all have to come together, reason as one, fear the future of those children, those innocent children. Let's come together with our good consciences. Let's think twice, if possible thrice. Let's not jeopardize the destinies of those children. They do not at times even know what's happening. Some may know that they are gunshots every day, this person has died or this house has been burned or whatever. But we are playing with the future and destinies. Let's try to come together and reason as one.
Yes,
and it's clear if we are coming together.
You're clearing the way for government to plant. But it appears the farmers of the government are the soldiers.
Categorically, I will not agree to that, in the sense that government, we are the government. Government is not in a vacuum. It's not operating in a vacuum. We are the government. Meaning at the same time, we have the responsibility, the obligation to ensure that the society is kept clean. Keeping it clean means that you and I, those people fighting, they're not ghosts. Either they have been made in the past, you are tribesman, or something like that. It means that we have the goal to talk to them. Dialogue is a process, and the head of state has said there will be dialogue, and we expect that. But let us not jeopardize the education of these children. When we talk about going village by village, it means that if today, Babila, you come from Balenyunga, not in Medan Division, and I talk about Balenyunga in my campaign, you feel more concerned, more engaged, more involved in the campaign. I talk about a place like Furawa in Menchum. Go to Akwaya, go to Kwakwa, Bole, Fue Bakundu, Moyoka, go to Bamuso, Kombo Abedimo, Kombo Itindi, Edabato, Mundemba, Ekonotiti, Toko, Dikumebalwe, all those places, they have to be involved for us to preach the good news to the importance of education. Go to places like in Bangem, they need education. Go to Nguti, go to Tombel, they need it. In Alo, Menji, Wabane, they need it. Go to Manfe, Eyumunjok, Tinto, Eshobe, Bisonaba, we have the famous PHS Bisonaba that has produced a lot of good minds in the country. So we need to come together and discuss. In Batibo, the famous Batibo, where we have Guzang, Ashong, Ewo, Besi, Awu, and Guka, we need to talk as one. There is nobody who has monopoly over the back to school campaign. All of us must come together because many hands do light work, and we have to work together. I will say it clear, I don't hate anybody, and I'll be so happy if I can have calls coming in from those Amber Boys who will talk. I will talk with them. Let's discuss. We are not enemies. As brothers, there come a time when we have problems, we disagree to agree. There come a time when we have to fight to come to a common reasoning and understanding. There's a time in life that you sit and look at somebody, the person hurts, but the Bible says there will come a time when we shall sit at the same table and share a common meal. I think that it is no crime.
You're also the president of the Youth Council in the Fungom subdivision, in the Menchum division, northwest region of Cameroon. What are you telling the young people of that area? What are you telling the young people, especially those who have carried arms today and the
You're right. My area is quite vast because we have places like Nyos is my area, the Nyos village. We have the Lower Fungom, we have Yemge, Bafmen is my constituency. We have Isu, We, Zwa. Now, I am telling them that peace is priceless. Education is everything. It is the best gift you can ever give to yourself first, before the impact you will create in your community. No matter what, let's not take education and compromise with any other thing. There are problems, accepted. Is it bad governance? Let's chart the way forward. Back to school is something that we cannot tamper with because all of us love education.
Are you joining President Pobia to tell them to drop down their arms?
CHAM Victor may be an insignificant person, but maybe if they love me as their peer, their age group, they might like to listen to me, hear what I'm saying. I don't know, but it's optional. They may love to listen to me, which means that brotherhood is powerful. Courage, brother, do not stumble. Let love lead. Once in love, always in love. We are stronger together. Unity is strength, no matter what. There are problems. When we disagree, let's agree. And that is why, Babila, I will tell the truth. In Syria, South Africa, Libya, where we have disorders, students go to school and some are killed. It's very bad. That is why we are campaigning that they should go back to school, but there should be an enabling environment. Parents have called me that they are really happy. They want their children to leave some of this part of the country and go back home. Home is home. Some are living here in Douala, in Yaoundé, in Bafoussam. Their conditions are horrible, deplorable, poor feeding, and all whatnot. And back home, I grew up in Menchum. In the morning, I will eat my roasted cocoyam with palm oil and go to school. I'm comfortable. I come back, I go to the farm, do some house chores, and life moves on so smoothly.
But today the whole thing has become chaotic.
Exactly. As good in Bambili, and now in Boya. Life is something that we should not take for granted. Education is everything. Even those in Boya and Bamenda.
All right,
one thing is clear. Let's come together as one and chart the way forward.
Before we go, you have been talking to insisting more on the Amber fighters and so on, the so-called Amber fighters. Talk to government now. Talk to President Paul Biya. What should he do to ensure a hitch-free back to school?
Yes, the reaction I've received from the field is positive, about 70%, and then 30% people are criticizing, telling me what to do, what not to do, what to improve on, what and whatever. I would tell the head of state that let him do something. We are clearing the road. We expect planting. The Prime Minister came to Bamenda and Boya and had a key message that there will be dialogue. So the planting should be dialogue, so that
mention about it again.
I don't know. I don't know. I want to think that there's time for everything. Maybe not to have some common mistakes that people in that time. I don't know, but I'm sure. I'm thinking as such. So I believe that Babila, the best thing that we can have now in this part of the country is education. Maybe you school in Bali today. Bali is not the way you left it. Womb is not the way I left it. My village is not the way I left it. I feel bad. I shed tears. The fact that we are campaigning doesn't mean that we are all happy. But for the sake of love, patriotism, we cannot jeopardize or compromise any other thing with education. Back to school is something that let's cherish, let's promote, let's love it with passion. Let's be so passionate about it. I have flyers for each municipality. Every day I have flyers. The campaign is vast on social media, Facebook and all WhatsApp groups, and we'll go beyond that, because I have to make sure that this message goes down to the least and the last person.
All right, thanks, Victor CHAM. You're a journalist, educationist, president of the Youth Council in Fongom Subdivision, Menchum Division in the Northwest region of Cameroon, and founder of the Municipal Update Media Group. Thanks for coming.
Thanks very much. I thank EQUINOXE for everything.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. That's it for today.